Nothing says rock crawler like a fabric skid plate. Hey guys, welcome back to HRG TV. Today we're going to be doing an installation on a 2023 Ford Maverick XLT. This is the non-hybrid version. The hybrid version actually takes a different lift kit. So this will apply to all the four-wheel drive non-hybrid models all the way from 2022 to 2024. First steps are taking these little metal clips off of the cowl cover. That gives you access to the bolts that hold the strut top covers on. So basically, you just got a couple of screws. Now make sure you get all of those metal clips. As you can see, I forgot one and it went flying. I did find it later and put it back on, but make sure you get all those metal clips off. Now that you got those off, just remove the screws that hold that plastic cover on. That's going to cover up the bolts that hold the struts in. So we need to get those out of the way. Now it's a 13 millimeter bolt that holds the strut to the strut tower. Come on. The ratchet completely disappeared. It's in here somewhere. I think maybe back here. I guess I'm just going to buy a new ratchet. Oh, there it goes. Now the HRG kit does come with an ABS wire relocation bracket, so you do have to completely remove the ABS wire. There's a little clip you can get with your finger and just unclip it. And just unclip it from the brackets that are on the fender well there. Next thing we're going to do is remove the brake line. It's an M8 bolt. So just take that off and get that brake line off of there. The next thing is we're going to do the big bolts that hold the strut to the hub. Now, one thing that's important is you do not try to loosen the bolts. The bolts are splined, so you can't loosen them. Then you will have to tap the bolts out with a hammer. Next thing we're going to do is take off the sway bar end links, and you will have to turn the wheel a little bit. Ford made the sway bar end links fit super tight against the frame, and you cannot actually take them out without turning the wheel. I'll usually leave one bolt in at the top of the strut to keep it from falling when you take the bottom bolts out, and just have a helper help you take those bolts out and allow you to pull the strut out safely. Now to install the ABS bracket, just pull that bolt out. Now you need to pay attention to left and right here. Left is driver's side, and you want to make sure that the bracket is oriented as shown in this video, not upside down, or it will hit the axle. Tighten that bolt back up, and as you can see, you just push the ABS wiring through that little gap there and connect it to the bracket. We will wrap all that back up when we put the strut back in. Next, we'll go ahead and remove the bottom bolt on the sway bar end link, and it is a 18 millimeter wrench, and you will need an Allen key. I think it's a 6 millimeter Allen key to stabilize that stud while you take the nut off. You will not be reusing those. Okay, next we're going to install the spacer to the top of the strut, and you will use the hardware that came with the kit, and you will reuse the OEM hardware to attach the spacer to the shock tower. Now in this video, you can see the spacers are the old style. We have redesigned these, and there is a left and a right, left being driver's side. So pay attention to that when you're installing this kit. When you're reassembling the front suspension, you want to make sure you install the camber bolt in the top hole. That is the eccentric bolt that allows adjustability of your camber. Basically tilts the top of the wheel in and out to make sure your alignment is within spec. And also make sure you tell your alignment technician that you have these bolts so he will know to adjust them. We do get a lot of tech support calls from customers who get stuck right here, and the reason is because the sway bar end link does not appear to fit once you've lifted one side. But what you have to remember is the other side has not been lifted yet, and therefore the strut where the sway bar end link mounts to is not in the same position as the one that is lifted. And of course the sway bar connects both sides together, so an easy way to get around that is to go ahead and either do both sides, or like we're doing here with jacking up the one side and then bolting the sway bar end link in place. That's pretty much it for the front installation. Now don't forget to put the metal clips back on that hold that cowl cover in place. This kit comes with trailing arm spacers. That's these spacers right here that relocate the pivot point of this arm right here. I can't stress enough to you the importance of doing this step now before you put the lift in. Everything is under a little bit more pressure with the lift if you do that first than it is when you put this in first. I think I'm gonna take this out, pull a couple of these little plastic clips out, and then this will bend to my wishes. Yeah, that's dumb. Don't put that in there. A couple of little clips right here. It'll come right out. And then this should just move. Yeah, now that moves a little easier. You can get to the other bolt a little bit better. Okay, so now what you want to do, you got to put this in with one hand because your other hand is on the camera. Oh, there we go. Just ever so carefully. What's great is that this thing kind of drops a full inch on its own. You don't even have to push it down or nothing. It just sort of moves. So now you got the bolt in. You have to kind of jimmy this in place. Now, I don't know if you can see what I'm doing or not. All right, so what I'm gonna do is get around this a little bit and just push it over with the pry bar. All right, so you can see what I've done here is just sort of run the pry bar in and just it gives you the ability to maneuver this around to get the bolt in the right position and thread it in by hand always. Got one side in, now I've got to get the other side. So here we go. I got the other side. This right side is in there. This side is sort of in there, but I can't tell. All right, so now that that one's in, impact these nice and tight. That's pretty good. And then put this flat cardboard skid plate back in place. Nothing says rock crawler like a fabric skid plate. We're gonna take off the rear subframe bolts. So what you gotta do is put a new bolt in place of the old one. Now this does two things. It keeps this from falling out, and it also keeps it in line, because at some point we do have to remove all of the factory bolts and let this drop a little bit. Now I'm gonna grab the one in the front, and you will see the subframe drop just a little. Unless my camera runs out of battery, then you won't see a damn thing. Okay, here we go. 18 millimeter. There we go. You see we're dropped. But this other bolt, holding everything still. Now that we've got this side dropped, and our bolt, our washer, we gotta do a puck spacer right there. Look at Ford with their BBs. Look at that welding slag right there. That is second rate slag on our parts. Look at that. Look how clean that is. Of course, a robot welded that, but you know, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna loosen the other side just a little bit. Let that side drop down. So go around to this side. Ooh. Water pouring out of there. You didn't know Mavericks had a little water storage in there, did you? Look at that. You know what that's gonna be in 20 years? Rust. Now we're dropped enough, we can just slide that right on there. And then we'll put on our new bolts. And this bolt is considerably longer than the OEM bolt. 22 mm, coming right up. Work stuff is the main file. All right, now that you got the bolts out of the lower control arm, you can just use your jack to release the pressure on the spring. If you're on a lift, you can use just a pull jack. But either way, just be very careful with these springs. There's a lot of tension on them and they can go flying if you're not. I filmed this video about a year ago using a GoPro, and unfortunately at the time, I did not realize the battery died right before I got finished with this job. So basically what you're looking at is footage from an install on a Bronco Sport, which luckily is exactly the same underneath in the back as the Maverick. Don't want to knock it off. Lift. All right, that pretty much wraps it up for the installation on this 1.5-inch lift kit on the new Ford Maverick. Now, this kit does actually fit all Mavericks that are four-wheel drive, including the Tremor. The hybrid Maverick actually takes a completely different lift kit, which we also sell. And if you're interested in this kit, we do have them for sale right now at HRGOffroad.com. So if you look at this, you can see obviously we've dropped down just a tiny bit. That is settling the suspension off of the lift, and that is going to be your final ride height. So it's going to be a little bit lower in the front than the back, but I say you want a little bit more lift in the back so that when you load it with stuff, it doesn't sag. Now, as far as the tires, they are a 245/70 on a 17-inch factory wheel. That is a 30.5-inch tire, and they do not rub with this 1.5-inch kit. So looking at our measurements here, we've gained 1 3/4 inches in the front and a full 2 inches in the back. Now, if your goal is more of a level look with your Maverick, we do sell a 1 1/4-inch front-only leveling kit on HRGOffroad.com. So if you don't like the rear high option, you can always go with that. I appreciate you guys watching all the way to the end, and I will see you in the next one.
Aw, you mother... Oh, man. Well, this is what you'd call a pain in the...